Hey guys, it's Carissa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag, and this is just a series of 13 questions talking about my reading habits so far this year. The tag was created by Cami from Is That Cami and Eli from Earl Grey Books. Alright, so question number 1. What is the best book you have read so far in 2020? Now, honestly, I don't know of any one single book that stands out to me the greatest right now. I haven't found that one book that I think about constantly and isn't my all-time favorites. There are a couple that I have rated very highly and that I really do enjoy, so I'll go ahead and start with those. The first one is the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. I haven't quite finished it yet. I'm still in the middle of the third book, but I am loving them so far. I didn't think I would. Well, that's a lie. I knew I would love them, but I've also tried to read Lord of the Rings before when I was back in high school, and it was just really hard to get through initially. And while I still think it was hard to get into initially, once I got halfway through the first book, I just absolutely fell in love with the series. And I think it will be an all-time favorite. I just need to finish it all the way before I can officially say that it is. Alright, question number 2. What is the best sequel you have read so far in 2020? And honestly, I haven't read that many sequels so far, but I mean, just after the first question, my favorite sequel so far is The Two Towers in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's just amazing. I loved it. And so that has to be my answer. Alright, question number 3 is a new release you have not read yet, but you would like to. And for me, that is Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, written by Suzanne Collins. This is the prequel to the Hunger Games series, and it came out a month or two or so ago. I forget what time it is. It's Juneteenth, right? July 18th now? I don't know. Anyway, that book came out, and I actually got it from my library, but I just put off reading it for so long I had to take it back, and I don't know why I didn't read it, because I really want to. I'm kind of scared to read it, because I don't want it to ruin what I love about the Hunger Games. But it's definitely one that I do want to read, and I will get it from the library again very soon. Alright, question number 4. What is your most anticipated release for the upcoming part of the year? And my answer to that is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. It is the 4th book in the Stormlight Archives, and I love that series so dearly, and it's so amazing, and I'm so excited for the book to come out. I'm not big on new releases. I usually just get what I can from the library, and new releases are harder to find, obviously, but this is one of those books that I've been watching and keeping track of its progress, and I'm really excited, and I'm also really scared. Brandon Sanderson, please don't kill my favorite characters. Yes, so that is the book I've been waiting for, and it comes out November 17th. It's my anniversary, so I've already told my husband, sorry, but my day will be spent reading instead of with him. Alright, well, maybe I'll spend a little bit of time with him, but the rest of the time we'll be reading. Question number 5, the biggest disappointment so far this year. I've had a pretty good reading year, where most of the books I've read are a solid 3 or 4 stars, a couple of 5 stars in there. There has been one 2-star book, and I would say that's one of my most disappointing ones. It is called The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Schulte, I think is how you pronounce her name. And it's one of those books where, like, I initially liked it, like maybe it was like a 3-star book. It is YA, young adult, but it just felt really dumbed down, even for young adult, and there was just this juxtaposition between the technology they had and the technology that they didn't have, and I don't know, the longer I think about it, the more I dislike the book. It has a really cool concept. It's where a family member can bring someone back from the dead for 72 hours just to be with them and spend time with them, and of course it all goes awry, and I really was intrigued by that, but it just fell really short for me. Question number 6. Biggest surprise read so far this year. I would have to say my biggest surprise read is My Dark Vanessa, written by Kate William Russell. or Kate Elizabeth Russell. Sorry, don't know where I got William from. It is a very heavy subject matter. It deals with a teacher-student relationship from the student's point of view, and it's very tough, and it's very graphic, and it's very real, and yet I loved it. I loved it not in the sense of what it was talking about, but just the way it was handled, and it was done so well. That's a hard book to talk about. The other surprise I have is The Yellow Wallpaper. It's a short story written by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and I remember reading the story in high school, and I remember it was weird, and it was creepy, but I don't think I fully understood it, and I reread it again this year, and man, there are some heavy themes in that short story. It's small, but it packs such a punch, and I was surprised by it because, like I said, I've read it before, so I wasn't expecting to like it or to get as much from it as I did. But I think just being older and having children, being married, just helped me understand so much more what the author was trying to convey, and then just knowing her backstory, how it was based off of her and her husband and things that she went through. It's a great read. So go read it, check it out. If you haven't, please do. It's amazing. And it's short. All right, question number 7. Favorite new author, and whether this could be a debut or a new to you author. And I'll have to say that my favorite new author is J.R.R. Tolkien. His writing is just so beautiful and so wonderful, and I was not expecting to like Lord of the Rings as much as I have or am enjoying. And I know it's a classic, and he's touted as being the creator of modern fantasy or whatever, but it lives up to the hype, and I love it so much. So I guess he would have to be my new favorite author, even though his books have been around for a really long time. Question number 8, new fictional crush. Honestly, I don't really get fictional crushes anymore, but question number 9 is favorite character of the year so far, and I do have an answer for this one. My favorite character so far is Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings. He's just amazing, so loyal, and he's so brave and so willing to help his friends, and I love him so much. I do. I really do. Every time he's in the story, I get this huge grin on my face, and I'm just so happy. He is my all-time favorite character, and I know it's cliche to say that, but he is. My other favorite character would also have to be King Arthur from The Once and Future King, written by T.H. White. Yes, it is about the King Arthur Sword in the Stone legend, and he is just written with so much depth and so much weight and responsibility, and I just love the way T.H. White has written and portrayed him. All right, question number 10. A book that made you cry. I find myself crying a little bit more in books lately. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm older, getting more emotional. I don't know. The book that made me cry the most so far is 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. And it's a true story, which makes it even harder and makes it more real, obviously, because it was real. But there's one part that it hit me hard, and it made me cry. I honestly haven't even finished that book yet. It's a short one, but it's a hard subject matter to read, and so I'm kind of taking my time and not necessarily enjoying it, but digesting it well. But man, yeah, I cried a lot in that one. Another book that made me cry is called The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman, and this book is about a couple who lives on an island and take care of the lighthouse that's there. They're very isolated from everybody else, and one day a small boat washes ashore with a man and a small baby, and the man is dead but the baby is alive, and so they take the baby and raise it as their own, instead of telling the authorities about the child. And that book deals with a lot of heavy things as well, but it deals a lot with postpartum depression and miscarriages and things like that. It got to me, and it's a really good book. It's slow but very beautiful. There's actually a third book that made me cry, and that is the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings. It's the second book. Somewhere towards the end, just the writing. The writing was so beautiful that I just had to stop and catch myself for a minute and just take a break and enjoy the writing. It wasn't even a sad part. It was supposed to be this big action adventure part, but for some reason the writing was just so beautiful. It just hit me. I just needed to take a moment, compose myself before I could go on. So that's a cry for a good reason. So that's nice. Question 11. What is a book that has made you happy? And the answer to this is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I just love this book so much. When I read it, I couldn't help but feel love and feel like I was part of the March family. Louisa May Alcott does some amazing writing and just builds up their world so much that I couldn't help but put myself in that family too. And they have such a great family that who wouldn't want to be part of that family? So it just made me happy. I really enjoyed reading that book. Alright, question 12 is, what is the most beautiful book you have bought this year? And actually, I have 4 most beautiful books because they came in a collection. And they're these ones right here. I have Little Women. I love these so much. Little Women. This is A Little Princess. I haven't read this yet, but I'm going to. Let's see, Heidi. I have also not read this one, but yellow is my favorite color, so yay. And then the most beautiful book so far is Anne of Green Gables. I just love this blue for some reason. I love it, and it's so beautiful. And I don't buy a lot of books, but I had to buy these because I have no self-control. But that's okay, because I love them and I use them. And I'm excited for my daughter to read them also. So last question, question 13. What book or books do you need to read or finish by the end of the year? And honestly, I really want to reread the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson because, like I said earlier, my most anticipated release comes out in November, and it's book 4 of the Stormlight Archive series. And so I just want to do a reread of those to catch up again, even though I read them last year, but those books are thick, and there's a lot to them, so I feel like I need to read them just to remember everything. But like I said, they're thick, so I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. I also want to read Arcanum Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson as well. It's a collection of short stories. I say short stories, but they're actually rather long short stories. And they're all about the Cosmere, which is the universe in which the Stormlight Archives take place. And I also really want to read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I really enjoyed The Great Alone by her last year. It was one of my favorite books last year. And I've had The Nightingale since before I even read The Great Alone, and I haven't read it yet. And I loved Great Alone so much, I'm kind of scared to read The Nightingale. I don't know why I'm scared. It's like, I'm pretty sure I'll like it, but I don't want to be disappointed, so I keep putting it off just on the small chance it will disappoint me. But I've heard great things about it, so I really want to finish that, or get to it, by the end of the year. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed listening to my answers to all this. If you would like to do this, please go ahead and do so. I would say see you next time, or that I plan on making videos and releasing them this and this time, but I've discovered that if I put a deadline on anything, or if I make it mandatory for myself, I'm not going to do it. So I will just see you whenever I see you again. Thanks, guys. Bye.